Mrs. Morgan works with her strategy practice group on making inferences. Because students have struggled with this, she begins by supporting them as they make inferences about pictures. Later in the lesson, they will graduate to the more challenging task of making inferences about text. Mrs. Morgan understands the importance of relationship building. She connects to students before getting into the learning. She asks each one what he or she is reading for pleasure.
Slated.
Slated, what are you reading?
The Maze Runner.
Cool.
Rifles for Waddy.
What?
Rifles for Waddy.
Rifles for Waddy?
Yes. It's a historical fiction book about the Civil War.
Cool. What are you reading?
North the Beautiful.
I loved that book too.
Will Grace, Will Grace. The Scorched Trials.
Scorched Trials?
Entwined.
Entwined. So last night you all watched the video that I made for you about the inferencing skills. And how many of you got to play the riddle game? Did you play some of those riddles? Didn't you say you aced every one of them?
Yeah.
So you're going to be our master inferrer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
I was bad at it.
You were bad at it? They were hard? Okay. All right, so let's review what was on the video last night. It was talking about inferencing. Who can give me, obviously some of you did from the video, but who can give me now a good answer for what is the skill of inferring? What does that mean, to infer? John Michael?
It means to make your conclusions about what you know already and your prior knowledge and what the author gives you in the text.
Very good, very good. Okay, yes sir.
It's basically a use of all your past knowledge and what you're reading right now to inference, like, what's going to happen.
Okay. Okay, so remember on your book club discussion board, you wrote about what you predicted the book was going to be about. So what do you think, what skills did you use to do that? Inferencing, right. So how did you decide what you thought the book was going to be about? Megan, what did you do in particular?
I kind of looked at the cover, and then I had already heard people talk about the book before, and so I just kind of used both of those factors to kind of guess what I thought it was going to be about.
Okay, so she used what she had heard from other people. She looked at the cover and did that. How many of you made a prediction about your book and it's totally false, though? What you thought the book was going to be about. Yeah. Also, if you will open up and go to the Edmodo and take a look at these two pictures, and you can click on them to make them bigger. And the first one I want to look at is that lawn chair. And I just want you to take a minute and look at it and tell me, first of all, where in the world do you think this picture might be taken? Nick?
In a poor place.
In a poor situation. Why do you say that?
Because it looks like a homemade wheelchair.
It looks like a homemade wheelchair, definitely.
Yeah,
so they've taken
it
a...
kind of looks like they can't afford to keep the place clean, and
The paint's chipping off the walls.
Yeah, the paint
Yeah.
is chipping off the walls.
yeah, so
So what else can you tell about where this might be located? Is there any, like a very specific place? Is there any clues in there that help you know something else about it?
Maybe like near a sewage plant.
Near a
sewage treatment plant, because of all like the dirty water on the ground and the guy like wearing one of those masks.
It almost looks like a hazmat suit, but this is not a current event picture. This was taken about 4 or 5 years ago. So anything else you can see, can make an inference about this picture? Do you think it's here or here in Texas, or do you think it's somewhere far away?
Well, I think it could.
Somebody shut the door, please.
It could be here in Texas because there are like very poor places in Texas.
Okay.
There's not always just big cities like Dallas and Fort Worth.
Okay. So actually this picture was taken in Haiti. And a few years ago, this was the year after the giant earthquake. I don't know if y'all even remember that big earthquake. This is the hospital. This is a picture at the emergency room at the hospital there in Port-au-Prince.
They actually used
That is, yes, that is
hospital wheelchair.
That is a hospital wheelchair for them because they had so many injured that they were not prepared for it. Now, look at that. Would that be a hospital you would want to go to?
no,
Why not?
doesn't look very sanitary.
Doesn't look sanitary. And why did you infer that?
Because there's a dude in a suit and looks like he's trying to protect himself from something.
Okay. Anybody else?
If they could only have like homemade wheelchairs, I would kind of doubt the doctor's experience, because maybe they didn't go to college if that's all they can afford and stuff.
In part 2 of this strategy practice group, students will apply the same strategies they've been applying to pictures to text.